Well, hello everyone. Let's see if this is working. I had a technical glitch right there. If you can, please comment quickly on the comment section, on the chat section, and let me know if things are working fine. If you can hear me, that is really, really important. Um, it is only me doing this live session. There's no one behind the scenes. So I'm responsible to take care a little bit of everything that is happening here. Of course, something could go wrong and, the session will be interrupted and I will try to get back to you as soon as possible. Well, thank you. I can see some messages coming in. So thank you. Do let me know where you are watching from. Are you in the US? Are you abroad? Where are you from? I'll be really interested to know where is the audience attending from today. All right. So for those of you who are relatively new here in this channel, we talk about green card categories where you can self-petition like EB2NAW or EB1A. Those are our two favorites. And those are categories in which you can do it by yourself without a company sponsoring you, without a job offer, and even without hiring a lawyer like you. I'm pretty sure you all know. And thank you. I'm seeing your comments saying everything is working fine. If in any moment in this session something is not working fine, do let me know and I'll try to fix it as soon as I can. So let's start with the intro. All right, Canada, Uzbekistan, a lot of different places. I love reading those things. Diana, Shaibu, I think I know you. Manus, a lot of good people here attending this session today. So Philadelphia, okay, the US. So let's quickly start and get this thing going. Today we are going to celebrate, that's the number one topic in the agenda, because we reached 10,000 subscribers in the channel, and that's the main reason why I'm doing this live session today. I do live sessions with the EB2NAW course members. Those are not open, but I wanted to really give my appreciation to all of you by doing this today in an open way here in YouTube. And we have 10,000 subscribers. And also in the smaller channel, if you speak Spanish and you want to join that one as well, that's a new channel and it's growing pretty fast. And I'll be happy to welcome you on that other channel as well. So that's the first thing, probably the most important thing. Thank you to all of you for being here week after week, learning together how to put together an application for permanent residency in the US. All right, so two topics in the agenda today. Number one, we're going to do like a regular weekly video, 10-15 minutes, hopefully not much more if I don't, sometimes I speak too much, but 10-15 minutes, and we are going to focus on the November elections. The difference with any other video I do during previous weeks is that this one is going to be live, but it's going to be the same philosophy. There's not going to be edits. It's going to be me talking in front of you live. And at the end of that, once we finish talking about the elections and the effect on EB2NAW and EB1A, we are going to move to live Q&A, so you can ask anything related to NAW and EB1A. I think before starting, there was already a question in the chat from Ashish. And by the way, thank you for your, I think it's called super thanks. Ashish asked a question about executive orders that I think I'm going to answer during the point number one here of the agenda. So I will refer to it again, Ashish, when we get to that point, okay? But you can drop questions and I will later take a look at them and reply as many as I can. This session will be about 1 hour. Let's see how it goes. I always say 1 hour and then we go over, but that's my hope, okay? So do keep in mind, I always say this, I'm not a lawyer, I'm a scientist. and that is a strong disclaimer that I don't provide legal advice. I don't provide case-specific advice. So I try to give general information, and then you have to take matters into your own hands. And if you need to, you may consult with a lawyer or not. That's up to you. So with that being said, let's start with the point number one. Are you worried about Trump? Let me know also in the comments. Are you worried about Trump? Are you worried about Biden? Are you worried about anything that can happen in the November 2024 elections? So yes, elections are happening in November. We all know that. And I know from the comments in the YouTube channel and emails and when I talk with clients that people are anxious about it because a new administration may come in. And particularly, they are worried about a person called Donald J. Trump and a second Trump presidency. Today, I'm not really going to talk about my personal opinion, what I really feel or fear or like or love or hate about politics. I'm going to talk about, hopefully, I will remain objective and will talk about numbers and things that you may be a little bit worried about and things that you shouldn't be worried about right now. So I'm going to go with the main message up front, okay? Can a president alter the green card system? Someone is saying in the chat, yes, definitely worried about Trump. Well, a president cannot alter this green card system. They cannot modify the green card system because this system was put into place by Congress, House, and Senate. They made the law, and only a new law or a modification of the existing law can substantially change this green card system. But that being said, presidents do have powers that they can use and often abuse, and I will show you a couple of examples of this for the positive and the negative when it comes to green cards. So these two guys, these are the almost presumptive nominees. The primaries are still going on, but these two men are very likely to become the candidates for the two main parties. And this is one of the polls. Well, this is the aggregate of all the national polls in the US. And this is just to show that the situation seems to be pretty close between them two. But of course, we're going to have to keep monitoring what goes on. In the first place, see if they do become the candidates of their party, and if they do, what happens in November. What do we know about these two guys? Well, Trump is probably most likely going to be the Republican Party nominee if he wins the primary. Biden, same thing in the Democratic Party. We know theoretically Trump and the Republicans are tougher on immigration, and theoretically Biden is supposed to be more favorable. Biden is the current president, you all know that, hopefully, and Trump was already president. So when I hear people talking about how anxious they are, I can understand it to a certain degree, but we do have data on what this guy has done, so we can take a look, and that's what we're going to do now. We can take a look at what happened during those 4 years and decide if we should be worried about Trump when it comes to EB2 and EB1A. And I'm really putting that constraint in today's talk, okay? We're not talking about anything else. So a first graph here is the number of people that obtain green cards. All green cards, family and employment-based green cards and asylum throughout the previous terms. Since Bill Clinton, a Democrat, was in office, then George W. Bush, Obama, Trump, and now Biden. And what I want to show you in this graph is that no matter what the color of the president, no matter what the person was, the statistics show that the number of green cards issued per year is pretty much within a certain range, and it doesn't really vary all that much. There are ups and downs, of course, and that may be because of many different reasons. We're going to talk about one reason in particular now, but you can see that you cannot really tell if a president is a Democrat or a Republican when it comes to this graph. Okay, if I remove these faces from the graph and the colors, you probably wouldn't be able to tell me based on the information I gave you earlier. One is more favorable and the other one is not supposed to be that favorable to immigration. So that's the first graph I wanted to show you. But then I saw this other graph that talks about green cards issued abroad. So this is only those of you who are interested in consular processing, that would be your case, is the green cards that came from a consulate or embassy abroad. And I had compared Obama to Trump because we're going to talk about Trump specifically. So first term of Obama, pretty stable issuance of green cards. Second term of Obama, a little bit higher. And then Trump comes in and basically similar story until we get to a point where there is a dramatic drop. And I'm sure you all are thinking, you know why, and that is COVID. When COVID hit, things changed in many fields, and the green cards is one of them. So before COVID, actually, even though there is a downtrend on the green cards issued abroad during Trump presidency, the numbers on average are almost the same as those same years in the previous Obama term. So not a big difference. However, of course, COVID hit, and then there was this massive drop, more than 10 times decline compared to the same period of Obama, because in Obama's term there was no COVID. Good. And that was because the consulates and embassies were closed down. And that may explain part of that dip that we see in the previous graph that I showed at the beginning, that accounted both for green cards abroad and green cards in the US. Of course, in the US, USCIS kept working at a much slower pace than usual. In fact, if I can remember those years, that's when I was doing my adjustment of status in the US, and my adjustment of status did take place during COVID. It didn't pause until COVID finished. I underwent that adjustment of status during the COVID years, but for people abroad, they were actually completely stopped. Okay, consulates, embassies completely stopped, and that is what explained this drop during Trump. If that didn't happen, Trump's term would have been very similar to Biden's and Obama as well. All right, so that's my main message. Trump's presidency was not that bad for green cards. In fact, I don't think it was bad at all for green cards. There are a few caveats that could be discussed, and I will show you one or two about Trump's policy. Okay, the main message is this one, but not the whole message is that positive. He did not alter the system because he can't. As I told you, he doesn't have the power to change the law. A law needs to be passed for the green card system to significantly change. And that takes me to a very brief explanation on how a bill becomes a law. And basically, there are three players here. We have the US Senate and the House of Representatives, that is Congress, and they have to propose and pass a bill. And then we have the White House with the president. But first of all, one of these two guys needs to propose the bill and pass it by majority. So one of them propose it, pass it by majority, and then the other one needs to do the same. And once both of them have passed that bill, then the president has to sign it so it becomes law. But the president can also veto it. So imagine that the president is from a different party than these two guys over here. Then the president can say, no, I veto it. I don't want this bill to become the law. And it goes back to these two guys, to Congress. So then they can override the veto. They can cancel that veto, and they need a 2/3 majority. So now they not only need a majority, they need a supermajority. So basically, and that it would become law no matter what the president thinks. Okay, that would be the end. It would become a law. So you can see why immigration reform rarely happens, because you need all these three entities to be in agreement. And we know that Republicans and Democrats, they don't usually agree on immigration. Even Democrats themselves and Republicans themselves, they are not monoliths, and they don't even agree 100% on the immigration topic. So it is very important to consider that, and understanding that, that, it's not easy that these things will change from one day to the next, even with elections happening. But that being said, the president does have powers on this matter. They have discretionary powers. They can issue executive orders. You all know about executive orders, especially those of you who are doing EB2NAW. They can do proclamations, and they can direct agencies to act in one way or another. An example of this is, well, two examples. President Trump Muslim ban in 2017, he prevented certain nationalities to come inside the United States, or the proclamation suspending entry of immigrants who present risk to the US labor market in 2020. That order that he gave actually prevented people that were getting their green card abroad to travel into the United States. So if you are doing consular processing, then you would be affected by this measure. However, these were temporary measures, and also they were challenged in court. And that is one great thing about the United States is even if the president wants to abuse certain powers, they will face backlash in court, okay? And many times courts will actually revert the effects of these things. And that's what happened with these two examples from Donald Trump. On the other hand, there are also positive examples. The government can improve how USCIS works. I mean, the USCIS leadership is appointed by the government, so they can decide if they want to make things more efficient. They want to put everything electronic or keep everything as paper-based forms. They can decide if they want to increase the fees or not. So there's a lot of things that the administration has power on, and it has a huge impact on backlogs, on processing backlogs, not so much visa bulletin backlogs. So an example of this is the executive order that Biden issued this last year on artificial intelligence. It not only talked about artificial intelligence as the technology itself, it also talked about immigrants. The president here in this screenshot is telling the Secretary of Homeland Security to help immigrants with expertise in artificial intelligence and other emerging technologies to make things smoother for them. So that's a great example of how the president does have certain power, and we'll have to see where this particular example ends, okay? One way green cards like EB2NAW will be impacted, and this goes to Ashish's question at the beginning, actually before this session started. He was asking if when you are doing NIW and a new president comes in, if all the executive orders go away and all your research that you were doing to argue national importance of your endeavor, if that would go away. That is not true. Not exactly true, it's not that way, but it is true that new administrations, even from the same party, may have different or slightly different priorities. And in some cases, for example, if we go from Biden to Trump, certain areas will see a totally different priority, okay? I'm thinking energy, for example, if until now the priority was probably clean, sustainable energy, with Trump, we could expect that he will be a fan of oil and gas, for example. So you do have to keep an eye on those things. Executive orders don't automatically expire at the end of the president's term, but it is typical that the new president will review all those executive orders during the first months of the office, and they will decide if they want to keep them, if they want to repeal them, and if they want to issue new ones. So if you are doing NIW and you are preparing your case while the change in administration is happening, and that will be January 2025, then you will need to be careful. You will need to take a look at all those executive orders, speeches, proclamations, the work of different agencies to make sure that you understand what are the priorities of the new government, so you don't say something in your petition that is outdated, okay? So last slide, in summary, should you be worried about these elections? Well, my take is mostly not, because the American system is quite complex. That complexity actually help you in this particular time, because it's not easy for a change to be implemented, a change that is significant to be implemented. Maybe temporary things, yes. The only way this could happen is if there is a supermajority. So the House, the Senate, and the presidency are in the same in agreement. For example, they belong to the same party, and that party is very cohesive if they all think the same. If that happens, then yes, a new law could be passed. Donald Trump, which is the person at hand here, could use discretionary powers and come up with some tricks, like the Muslim ban in 2017, that's wrong, or the other ban in 2020, which could affect consular processing more than people inside the US. The American Constitution protects people inside the US, no matter if you are American or not. So that's an advantage to you, and that protects you from Trump or anyone else, okay? But people filing for a green card outside could have temporary issues if one of these candidates win. But in my opinion, this is kind of like when you ask me about what are my visa bulletin predictions. I hope you don't ask me that today in the Q&A, because this is a topic where we don't have that much control on. So my advice is that you carry on, you work on your petition, you do all you can to craft a very good petition, and you submit it, and don't spend too much time on the elections, because we don't know what is going to happen in the first place. And even if a candidate like Trump wins, there is a limitation on what he can do, fortunately. And that is it. Oh, that is a big Trump image. I hope you found this part of today's live session interesting. And now we are going to start going through a few questions, right? So what do you think? Are you still worried about Trump? Did you change your mind, or you knew that there was nothing to worry about? So let me know. And yeah, I'm going to start scrolling through the questions, and it's going to be awkward at times because it's only me here. So I will do my best to do it smoothly. We are going to take a break in a few minutes. Once I have taken a few questions, I will leave you for 5 minutes, and then we'll come back and finish with more questions. So let's take a look at these questions. So we have a question from Abbas. He says, "Hi, Oscar. Appreciate for what you have been doing. Thank you so much. For those doing research in other countries and proposed endeavor is continue with their research, do they have to specify where they intend to do it?" Well, the more details you can provide, the better. You don't have to say, I'm going to work for this particular company. I will do research in this particular company or in this particular university. You don't have to do that, because remember, I assume you're talking about EB2NIW. You are not necessarily mandated to have a job offer. So, however, I think it benefits that you provide as much information as you can. For example, you can explain what type of organization you are going to be doing research with. Are you going to be working for a public institute? You are going to be working for a private startup company or a large organization. Provide your research plans, what kind of projects you are going to be engaging. Provide also some details of what kind of organization you plan to contribute to. That will really, really help you when it comes to convince the USCIS officer. So, well, I have another question from Abbas. I'm going to get one, otherwise I'm going to lose it later. So he's asking, is it okay to write foreign address on US money order? So if you're filing an EB1A green card or EB2NIW green card, you have to pay your fees. And by the way, fees are going up very soon in April. So when you're paying your fees, one of the best ways I find is to use a money order. And someone in the US, if you are not in the US, they need to go, for example, to the postal office, to USPS, buy that money order for you, mail it to you so you can fill it out. I don't think they will care that much if you write a foreign address on that US money order. That's not a big deal. But to be honest, since you probably need a friend or relative to actually go and buy that US money order for you, why not use an American address? I would probably do that. All right, we have a lot of people from different places: London, Ohio, Bangladesh, Nigeria, Farouk from Sweden. Yeah, a lot of diversity here, and that's great. Okay, we have a question from Dawood, and he's asking, "Hi, Oscar. Thank you for your support. Thank you for being here. I filed my petition last week on February 26th with premium processing, and since then, I have not received any notice from USCIS. When should I hear back from USCIS?" That's the 1 million question. This is not very consistent, but for you, it's totally normal that you have not heard back yet. As you know, when you file premium processing, they have 45 days to answer. They should tell you before answering that they received that petition, and they should give you the receipt number. But it sometimes takes a few weeks. Even if you submitted the form for electronic notification and they promise they will notify you within 24 hours, that rarely happens. And sometimes it doesn't happen at all. So wait for the letter in the mail. It can take a few weeks, especially if you are abroad. I don't know where you are, but if you are in the US, give it 2 to 4 weeks at least, okay? All right, so we have David here. David says, if you are already approved for EV2NIW as a pilot, is an obligation to work in the same field, or can you do a different job while you look for a job? So David, I'm going to answer what you theoretically should do, and then of course you can do whatever you want. But theoretically, when you're approved for an EV2NIW, when you get the green card for an NIW, not when you get the I-140 approved. When you get the green card, at that point, your green card is approved based on your proposed endeavor. And even though you can deviate a little bit from your proposed endeavor, because sometimes things don't work out the same way we plan, you are theoretically bound to continue work in the same field, okay? At least in the same area. So if I say I will do research on biotech, even though maybe I describe certain projects in my endeavor, maybe I don't work exactly in the same projects I said I would, but I still work in biotech, and that's fine, okay? But it wouldn't be fine if I go and work as a pilot, for example. Okay, I think that's a very extreme example, but it will help you understand what I mean. All right, we are more than 100 people right now, so thank you everyone for being here. Yeah, so we have a comment. I don't think it's a question. A comment from someone called Smart. So we should pay attention to Smart. Yes, the president can change the law, but they definitely can issue policy memo to USCIS to raise the bar for discretionary categories such as NIW and EV1A. Yes and no. Mostly USCIS, for example, when it comes to EV2NIW, bases the decisions on the matter of DANASAR. It is true that there are memos and they can direct to do one thing or another, but my take on this is that they cannot have a huge impact on how the USCIS officers will decide on. Because keep in mind that if they start deviating from the matter of DANASAR, for example, then people will eventually sue them. And when they sue them first in the Administrative Appeals Office, then in the actual Court of Justice, and the government will have to backtrack. So yes, they could do a little bit of that, but I don't think it's going to be very, very significant. All right, J.A., hi Oscar, what is your idea? When will I guess, April date become current in visa bulletin for EB2, both the final. Okay, I hope you wrote that comment after I said, I hope you don't ask me about visa bulletin predictions. I don't do visa bulletin predictions. If you have watched a few videos of mine, particularly those on the visa bulletin, I think it's a waste of time that I give you my projection. I can tell you in general what I think, if I think it's going to improve or not, but I cannot tell you when something is going to become current. Not even people working in USAS will probably be able to answer that question. So don't focus that much on that. Focus on having a good petition and working towards that. Okay, I could tell you a month, but it's going to be basically taken out of nowhere. So Hakan, he or she is asking, I earned green card from Turkey through EB2NIW. I need to track the bulletin for the visa process. My priority date is February 2024. Another one. Can you incite an estimate for when priority date might become current? No, unfortunately, I can't. Like I said to the previous person, what I can tell you is what is the visa bulletin from March 2024. And the visa bulletin from March 2024 says that the date for EB2NIW for most countries, not China, not India, is November 22nd, 2022. Now, you could assume that things will move month by month, but we know that that's not true, that sometimes it moves slower, sometimes it moves faster. Lately, in the last 1.5 years, it has been moving slowly. So I cannot give you an estimate because whatever I tell you today, it may be wrong in 3 months from now. So it wouldn't be fair and honest. All right. Graham, now that the approval rate is going down quarter by quarter, do you still think that traditional processing is the way to go? By losing time, do you think it might affect the approval chance? I don't exactly know what you mean by that traditional processing. I don't know if you mean non-NIW. So maybe you can clarify on that. Do you think it might affect the approval chance? Also, I'm not sure. If you can clarify your question, I'll appreciate that. Let's see if I understand this second question you have here. After I-140 approval and EAD card received, is it okay to use that EAD to other work than the endeavor such as W2 job? Would this affect the final green card approval if we do that? Well, that would be a question more for a lawyer than for me, but I'm pretty sure the lawyer will tell you that you should stick to your endeavor, at least to your field of endeavor. This is very important. Not so much the endeavor specifically, but the field of endeavor. If you get an EAD based on an I-140 approval based on an NIW, it makes sense that you stick to your field of endeavor as you promised to do in your NIW. But again, not legal advice. You can ask a lawyer about it. All right. Could there be a decrease in the number of visas issued due to the poor state of the economy? If you're talking about green cards, immigrant visas, the answer is no, because the system really works on an annual quota basis, and that is based on the law, like I was explaining in the previous lecture. It is based on the law of Congress. So each year there are, for employment base, 140,000 green cards available of all the categories. EB2 and EB1 are just two of them, but that is the number that they are going to give out. Lately, there's more demand than that, so it is very unlikely that we don't reach the 140,000 people requesting the green card. So the economy would have to be really, really, really bad that those 140,000 green cards wouldn't be used up. And especially considering that there is a huge backlog, people waiting for their visa number. So we also have to take that into account, okay? But no, if you mean, will the US government say, we are going to lower the green card number because the economy is doing well? Like I said in the lecture, they cannot do that. only Congress can do that. And that requires that the US House, the US Senate, and the President agree. All right, so Raymond Acosta, I have priority date of February 2024. How much time is it taking to complete the process? How much time for the I-140 response? So I'm going to start with the second question. The I-140 response right now is being way faster than what it was for me when I did it a few years ago. I'm seeing I-140 approvals in 3 to 6 months is very common. Okay, it could take longer, it could take, I don't think shorter, but maybe a little bit longer. It depends on the case as usual, but it's pretty fast, assuming non-premium processing. Now, as per the whole process, if you are in the US, you are going to do adjustment of status. After that, you will need the visa bulletin to become current. And right now, as per the March 2024 visa bulletin, you have about 1.5 years of wait time. So you need to wait 1.5 years to file that adjustment of status, or let's say 1 year to 1.5 years, and then wait for the adjustment of status that takes about 1 year. Smart. I filed NIW and got denied. Sorry about that. Now I am refiling again and also filing EB1A. How many tries are reasonable before giving up? Well, this is a personal question. It is really up to you, your financial resources, and really your motivation to continue doing this and continue trying. I have seen people try 4 times, but I cannot tell you a magic number. It's up to you. I don't know what's your profile, but if you file NIW and you didn't make it, it's probably wiser to concentrate on NIW rather than going to EB1A, unless you have a very specific reason to go to EB1A. EB1A is a way higher standard to meet. Not only on paper you can read that it is higher standard, but the USCIS officers will be more strict as well. So in my experience, it is tougher to get an approval there. Okay, last one, and then we'll have a 5-minute break so I can drink and relax and go through your comments, and we'll be back in 5 minutes. But let's go with Jawad Raza. My petition is based on climate change, as Trump don't like it, don't like this phrase. Should I change it? Well, it depends when you're planning to file, Jawad. First of all, we don't know if Trump will win. We don't even know if Trump will be the candidate. I'm assuming he will be. That is the more likely scenario. It's also not unlikely that he could win, but you don't know that. So if you are right now in the middle of preparing your NIW and you think you're going to be done before the end of the year, before January, when the new president would be inaugurated, then just keep going, keep preparing that petition. And if you're not sure, then since your work is about climate change, hurry up. I mean, this is a good motivator. This is a good way for you to stay on track and submit your I-140 petition before that potential Trump presidency starts. All right. So let's take a 5-minute break. I will continue reading your comments, and we'll be back very soon. Are you serious about your EB1A or EB2NIW green card petition? If you are, then I recommend that you take a look to my websites. This one is my EB1greencard.info website, where you can find a lot of information on that EB1A category. You can find a lot of blog posts, you can find a lot of information, statistics, and even explanations on the different steps of the process. You can download my sample petition, and you can enroll in my online EB1A green card course. You have all the information here, you have the methodology, you have the pricing, and especially you can take a look at the curriculum. You can see all the different lectures that are part of this very well crafted, and I hate to say that because it is my own course, so I feel a little bit bad, but it is true. It is well crafted, it is well organized, and it will give you the tools that you need. It will go through the requirements, how to fulfill the requirements, how to start working on your petition, how to prepare all the different documents, and even you will get information about adjustment of status and consular processing. But I know many of you here are more interested on the EB2NAW green card. That is a more popular category because it is a slightly lower standard, so more people can access that kind of category. And I also have a website. I actually have two, one in Spanish and this one in English, eb2naw.info, where you can find similar information than in my EB1 green card website. You can find a lot of posts, actually way more articles than in EB1 because I started earlier. And then you can also find downloads. You can download my petition, you can download my adjustment of status package. But again, if you enroll in my course, you will get all those files, all those downloadable files. You don't need to go one by one and pay them separately. You can just access my course. Here you have all the information, everything that is included. There's 9 or 10 modules with a lot, actually 10 modules with a lot of lectures. And again, you can go here and take a look at what it includes. It covers the whole process, step by step, with how to put together each of the type of document, the cover letter, the recommendation letters, professional plan, business plan. I even have discount for a business plan company, the leading company on business plans that I have a collaboration with. Basically, you can, if you have the time and you want to put the effort, you can find here all the guide that you need to put together your own case, like many people have already done successfully. You can find videos on my channel talking about their success stories. You can find Instagram posts on my Instagram profile. And again, you can take a look at this and figure out if this is the right choice for you. I'm sure it is. And now I'm going to show you a little bit what is inside that course so you can have a better look at it. So this is how the course looks inside the course. You have on the left side all the modules that you could see earlier. Here you click each of them and the lectures inside the module will show up. So you can click on each lecture. Here we are in the recap on the requirements for EB2NAW, and you always have a lecture in English, and then right below it you have the same lecture in Spanish. Everything is recorded in both languages. So you can navigate through it. I keep updating the content. I keep adding content. So for example, last week I added this lecture on how to write each of the prongs. This is prong number 1. We have prong number 2 and 3. I have lectures on personal plans, professional plans that you can follow. In many lectures, you actually have the explanations in writing mode. So you can, if you just want to take a quick look, you can find links or information that is very relevant to that particular part of the process. So this is a multimedia type of course. It's mainly videos, but it is not only videos. It's a little bit of everything. You can come to the comment section in each lecture and either write your own question or read what others have asked about that particular part of the process earlier and see if your answer is already there. So you can submit your own questions, and you can also meet me once a month because we have a monthly live session that is exclusive to EB2NAW course members, where we come on to a Google Meet call, we meet each other. I usually give a 10-15 minute talk about a particular topic, and then there's Q&A, and you can just jump in and ask me any question that you have about the process. Remember, I'm not a lawyer. I don't give specific advice to a specific case. I just talk about the process and how to do different parts of the process. So with that in mind, I invite you to check out these resources. And now let's go back to this live session. All right, I hope you like that. A little bit of advertisement, but it did help me to go through the comments and see how much we have left. We have quite many comments to go. I'll try to do my best to go through most of them, if not all of them. All right, and remember that I'm not going to go through all the benefits of my course again, but I do think it's a very interesting way for you to be serious about your EB2NAW or EB1A. So let's go into Desi Family Vlogs. I was wondering if you could contact the Nigerian guy from Qatar about his arrival in the US. What are his findings about the last step? I think you mean Eric, someone I interviewed in this channel I did a two-part interview with him. He was a consular processing applicant. And yes, I think it would be a nice idea to reach out and see if he is completely done, if he is in the US already, or when he moves to the US, if we could get him again and do a video about life in the US. You know, that would be a cool one. So thank you for the ideas. If you have other ideas, please drop them. I love listening to ideas and hopefully implementing some of them. Oscar, just wanted to say thanks. You're doing a very good job by helping uncover specific of EV2 and AW and EV1. Use your dogs as example and successfully got my EV2 approved. Well, congratulations to you. I am super happy to hear those kind of things. When I hear those stories, it does make my day. So congratulations to you. Immersive Lab. I don't know your name, but congrats. And you can reach out to me on my email to tell me a little bit more. All right. Be happy. All right. I love that name. Hi, Oscar. 2 questions, please. I applied for EV2NAW as a software developer engineer, having master's degree from USA and developing nuclear industry applications using AI with 20 years experience. My proposed endeavor is to empower the nuclear plant industry by implementing AI and Microsoft Power Platform technology to enhance technical procedures action. How do you think my chance to get approval? In case I get EV2NAW approval, how much I need to show as income financial statement? I apply as a consular with myself only. So chance of approval, I don't really comment on that. It's the same as the visa bulletin. It doesn't make sense that I just give you a chance of approval out of nowhere without knowing your case, without knowing specifics, without knowing your credentials and really details about your endeavor. By what you are telling me, it does look your endeavor is something concrete and interesting that could have national interest, so that is good. But beyond that, and you have a master, you qualify as an advanced degree holder. Beyond that, I will not give you a number because it would not be honest to just throw a number of percent approval rate. Okay, financial statement. Well, I know for sure when you apply from the US, you don't have to show financial statements. I'm not sure what they ask you in the embassy or consulate. I would just show what you have. And to be honest, for EV2NAW and EV1A, I don't think they will make a big deal out of your financial statement situation. And they will focus on your I-140, what you told them you're going to do, and on if you have derivatives. I'm not sure if you have spouse and children, on the relationship that you have with them, making sure that your spouse is truly your spouse and not someone that is trying to get a green card, those kind of things that, by the way, I will teach you in my course if you join me. So another one is EQ. Hello, Oscar. I have experience in cybersecurity. Can it be practical as proposed endeavor if it's not limited to a classroom? I think you watched one of my latest videos about teaching endeavors and how you shouldn't really focus on teaching. So you are on the right track. You are now thinking, how can I frame this without limiting myself to classroom? So show your broader impact. That is the key word, broader impact. What is the consequence of my work, of my proposed endeavor, my future work on the society, not only on my organization, not only in the classroom, of course, but beyond, to the society as a whole, to the nation. That's what you should be asking yourself. How can I frame it in that sense? All right, someone from Pakistan. Hello, hello. For someone applying from Europe, John asks, and his family is in Africa, can he do the consular processing in Europe even though his dependent do not have resident status in Europe? That is honestly a question they never asked me. Generally, in consular processing, the whole family must go together. So it is likely that you will be called to the embassy of the principal. But that is a question I would leave to lawyers. It's a pretty specific one. So I don't hesitate when I'm not sure to tell you I'm not 100% sure. So maybe engage with a lawyer on this. All right. I wish UCAS and the Department of State were clearer on these situations. All right. So we didn't have to wonder. So another question from IT Learner. I've been in Sweden and I live in Sweden and I have over 16 years of working experience in software development. Having lived outside the US, do I still have good chance to get EB2NAW? Yes, you have a good chance no matter where you live, as long as you have a solid proposed endeavor that has national importance and you are well positioned. You can show that your credentials back you up. Okay, where you live is not that relevant. Okay, Arian, I am in the US with J1 visa and will apply for J1 waiver. More or less, how long does it take to get I-140 approval? Do you think we should apply premium processing? I have a video on premium processing and if you should apply. In 1 minute, the answer is no, I don't think it is worth it. For most people, there are situations that may require it. But earlier in this live session, I said, lately, 3 to 6 months is something pretty common for an I-140 approval. Juan Pablo, thank you. Thank you for your thanks. I appreciate it. IT learning, getting EB2NAW means getting green card or need to apply separately to the green card after a few years. EB2NAW is a green card, but there are 2 steps in the process. You have to file your I-140 petition where you tell them all about your endeavor and how you're well positioned and all that. That is the more complex part of it. And then if you're in the US, you do an adjustment of status. If you're abroad, you do consular processing. After those 2 steps, if you are approved, you get the green card. EB2NAW is a type of green card, okay? So permanent residency, basically. Is it worth applying to EB2NAW currently if the delay to get a green card takes years, meaning retrogression? Would it be a better idea to strengthen one CV and apply through EB1? Well, Linux Zero, not everyone can apply for EB1. That's the reality. EB1 is a tall order when it comes to standards. So even if you strengthen your CV, not absolutely everyone can do it. Okay. If you do, if you are in that position where you can strengthen your CV and go for an EB1, by all means do it. But those 2 things are not exclusive. You can do EB2NAW now and put yourself in queue, in the line of people. And you can work on your profile to later be able to do an EB1. Both things can work at the same time. In fact, I did those 2 things. I not work on my CV. I did EB2NAW and I did EB1. They are independent. Yemi, if you are I-140 approved for EB2NAW already, can you still file for EB1A in order to have a faster processing? Yes, like I just said, so it seems like you read each other's questions. Yes, you can because they are independent. So if you have one of those already in the system, you can apply for the other one. No problem, they are independent. Muton Sharari, thank you, Oscar, and thank you. I think I know you, so thank you for being here today. I appreciate it. Hi, Oscar. I sent my petition to USCIS at the end of December with the letter to confirm if they received the application. However, till now, I did not receive any confirmation from them, and this was end of December. You should have received something from them. I assume that what you mean is you submitted the e-notification request. That doesn't work always, but at least you should have gotten a letter, a physical letter in the mail. So go to the USCIS website and file one of these electronic forms. They are called e-request to request that receipt, or just talk with Emma. Emma is the virtual assistant in the USCIS website. Talk with her and ask for that document. You need the receipt number. You need the physical receipt. All right, Elnas. Last presidency of Trump, he banned Iranians to enter US. Do you think it can happen to NAW for Iranians again? Like I said in the lecture earlier, yes, that is a possibility. It could happen. I don't know if it will happen or if it won't happen. We don't know that. It is a possibility. It may be challenged in court if that happens, but I cannot tell you it won't happen at all. It could happen, so we'll have to see. If you are in the process of getting a green card, the best way for you to protect yourself is to be as fast as you can and enter the US before that happens, because once you are in the US, it is very hard for any president to do those kind of actions. Even if you are outside the country later, you are a permanent resident at that point, they will have to let you back in. The problem is for people that didn't get the green card yet. Okay, Graham, now that the approval rate is going down quarter by quarter, do you still think that non-premium processing is the way to go? By losing time, do you think it might affect the approval chance? The approval chance, it really depends on your case. It doesn't depend on the month or the quarter. It is true that we have been seeing in the recent quarters that the approval rate for NIW has gone down. And I'm, like you probably know, in my channel, I do monitor that and I keep an eye on that. But it doesn't mean that your specific case has less chance of approval. It means that overall, the bulk of the cases that have been submitted have less chance of approval. It may be just because there's more cases being sent, which is true, also a fact from the statistics. And many of those cases may not be solid. They may not be well put together. And that is because the approval rate is lower. So it's about your case, it's not about the global statistics. Okay, hello Oscar. Is cybersecurity instructor a good endeavor if the scope is not limited to the classroom level? I think I answered that, so I'm going to skip that. Oscar, why you decided to apply yourself for EB2NAW? Is it because you wanted to challenge yourself or because you did not trust attorneys? So that's a good question. I think I do have a video, one of the first videos in the channel, a long time ago, where I tell that story. But in summary, my company, a small startup, they were getting worried because I was not being picked in the H1 lottery and I would have to leave the country. So they decided to file for an EB1 green card with lawyers. So I worked with the lawyers, and yes, you're right, I became really tired of the lawyers. So at that point, I decided to do an EB2NAW by myself. I learned about these two categories. I realized that there are parallelisms between them two. So I was fed up with the lawyers. I did my EB2NAW. We both submitted. I submitted earlier than them, and we both got approval. So I got EB1 and EB2NAW. So it's not just because I wanted to prove myself. It was because I wanted the green card, and you know, sometimes you have to take matters into your own hands. Ahmed, can you work for an employer if you have NIW and adjust status or quit, and you need to work for your business based on the business plans you have? You can do whatever you said you were going to do in your endeavor. If your endeavor is about a business, then of course you should do that. So it depends what is your case. George, as a musician, we don't really have published works, etc. For problem number 2, can you have additional recommendation letters as this is very reputation-based field? Yes, but remember that recommendation letters are not the best type of evidence. You need hard evidence as well. Recommendation letters are good as validation of your claims, but in general, you cannot put a whole case together based on letters. You have to have something else. So try to find something in your field that is concrete, hard evidence of your accomplishments, and then use letters, maybe use more letters than other people to substantiate that, particularly independent letters. Those are the best kind of letters. Ahmed, does the expert package where you review the petition include the course? I do review petitions. I do very, very few ones per month, and they don't include the course. The course is separate, and then I do a few reviews. Freddy is asking, I think I know you, Freddy, from the course. This March, you open days for Express Review meeting service? Yes. And by the way, if you want to be notified, you can go to the services tab in my website. Let me show you. You go to my website. It doesn't matter which one. They all have this services tab. Then there's the Express Review service here. There's the calendar right now. There's no times in March because they are already booked up. And here there's a box where you can put your email and you will get notified, okay? But I do very few of them. I know that, and maybe in the future we'll be able to increase that. Have you heard anything on the approval rates for aviator pilots for eV-20W? There's no official rates for any profession specifically, so no. I could speculate, but I'm not going to speculate. Will Trump ban affect NIW? We don't know if Trump will win. We don't know if Trump will impose a ban, so too many unknowns. Hakan, I'm confused. I applied for premium processing on December 24, 2023, and got my I-140 approved on February 16, 2024. Which section should I follow in the bulletin, November 22nd, 2022 or February 15th? Well, assuming you are in the US and you want to do an adjustment of status, you have to look at that month particular bulletin. There's a link in table B where you can click on it, and when you get into that link, it will tell you what table you have to use. In March, you have to use table A, but that changes month to month. So generally, it is expected that from here to September, you will have to use table A to file an adjustment of status. And then with the new fiscal year starting in October, you'll probably use table B, but you have to check each month. Ahmed, is the course lifetime, perpetual, or subscription for a certain period of time? The terms and conditions say that it is a 1-year subscription. Right now, I'm not enforcing that 1-year period, but at some point I may enforce it. It's just right now, there's people that have been around for more than a year, and I haven't cut anyone off, okay? But theoretically, it's 1 year. There is an increased scrutiny of eV-20W applications from outside the US, as remarked by one popular immigration law firm, maybe because of frivolous applications. Can you give your thoughts on this? This is speculation. I have read the message you refer to. It's from Chen, a popular lawyer office. I don't have one opinion or the other. I think if your case is very good, you will get an approval no matter what. If your case is mediocre, you will probably fail no matter if you're in the US or outside. So my position is work on your case and don't pay that much attention to noise. So in this case, I don't fully agree with Chen. Sophia, with priority date of May 31st, 2023, will I be able to adjust my status this year? I cannot see the future, Sophia, so I wish I could, because I would be rich by now and I would be winning the lottery. I don't know what's going to happen with the visa bulletin. Nobody knows. There are many YouTubers out there that will tell you what is going to happen. You can back check what they said and realize that they really don't know, of course. So I'm not going to be one of those. I'm not going to tell you that kind of information that I will have to make up. Okay, Fons Boniatis. That's a complicated name. Your public videos were a great help, and I created a petition 500 pages long. No publications, currently on F1, but with 10-year work experience. Well, congratulations. Just as a word of caution, more pages doesn't mean it's better. I hope your petition was absolutely perfect, and hopefully you got an approval, or you are about to get an approval. But I want to tell people, especially in the cover letter section, don't go too crazy with the length of it. Maybe, yes, for the exhibits, you have a lot of evidence, but don't write too much for the sake of it. Try to get to the point of it. I'm not talking about you, Fons. I'm talking in general. I'm sure the 500 pages is mostly exhibits. Ahmed, sometimes I get the news of Visa Bulletin from you faster than me having to check in Google updates about Visa Bulletin. Maybe I work for USCIS. I have NIW approved after refiling, but I appealed the last one and they responded the appeal by saying that I didn't appeal timely manner. Can I request refund, and will that affect my new approval? No. If you appealed out of the deadline they gave you, they are not going to give you a refund. I can tell you, most likely they will not give you a refund anyway. Okay, so that's a lost cause. Move on and be happy because you did get your approval. So congratulations. That's great to hear. Be friend. Hi, Oscar. I got your templates. Thanks. I work in the US in my area. My project is I guess consulting services. What do you recommend, a business plan or professional plan? For a consultant, you could go either way. It really depends on what is your personal preference, how you want to frame your endeavor, but that's one of the gray areas where you could choose one or the other. Ramiro Ramirez. Oscar, you are the best. Thank you. Thank you. As an occupational health specialist who worked for 27 years for oil and gas industry, my I-140 was approved prior today, May 31st, 2023. Congratulations, Ramiro. That's great to hear. I'm waiting for consular processing. Could you suggest good websites to help us find job related to our career? Woof, that's one that I cannot answer because there's a whole world out there. I know good websites for my type of business, my scientist career, but you really have to look into what is for you. But I can tell you, in general, LinkedIn is something that in the US it works really well. I don't know in other places of the world, but I got one job in LinkedIn, and I think that is more and more common. When I got that one job, that was very, very long time ago. I think another way is through your own network. If you have people in the US, give them a call them, talk with them, worry about them and their family, and then open the conversation about career, because more often than not, they are willing to help you. Okay, Ahmed says, interesting, maybe discount for people who will do express on the course or referral. I don't need the course, but I have many friends so I can refer. Yeah, that's an option maybe in the future, but to be honest, right now I'm too worried about thinking about marketing solutions for the course, but I will take that into consideration. I appreciate your ideas. Thank you. With a priority date of June 6, 2023, will I be able to move to current before August? I don't know that. I'm going to move on because I really don't know. I don't make predictions, okay? What is your view that persons should try to apply for their green card as soon as possible, because the visa bulletin doesn't show the real length of the backlog because there are hundreds, I guess that's cut. Well, my view is that yes, you should apply as soon as you can, because the situation may keep getting worse. And if you apply sooner than later, you are going to get a priority date, you're going to get a place in line, and you are going to be there waiting. Now, that being said, I don't mean that you file any type of green card petition that is weak and you know that it's not going to work out, because that will not help you. You will eventually lose that case and you will lose the priority date. So be as fast as you can, but do a good job, okay? Yes, I agree with that. Okay, we're going to finish in 5 minutes. I'm going to take the very last questions. I do appreciate everyone's active participation. We are more than 120 people right now. I am running out of saliva, so we have 5 more minutes and we'll say bye for today. Ramon, hi Oscar, I apply for EB2NIW through an attorney. Can I respond to an RFE by myself? Yes, technically you can, but it is, if you don't want to work with the attorneys anymore, when you started working with them, you gave them power to represent you. Now you have to withdraw that power. So just Google withdrawal representation attorneys USCIS and figure out how you can do that. Basically, you have to write a document and tell USCIS that those lawyers no longer represent you, that you will represent yourself. Okay, so do that and then file the RFE response. Because if you don't do that, they will get the notifications, not you. Thanks so much for answering all the questions. Do you have sample application for business professional consultants, etc.? Also non-academics with more professional experience? Sorry, I was not showing the question. I don't offer those. I offer a course that will help you craft your petition. I'm not a fan of offering 1,000 types of petition. I offer mine because it's mine and I like it. But then in the course, I show you, no matter what's your profession, what is the philosophy behind crafting your petition. Each one of the prompts, I give you the recommendations. In the course, I talk about things like professional plans and business plans that I didn't use, but I will show you how to do them. And I will even connect you with a company that is the leading company on business and professional plan drafting. So you can engage with them if you want to, or you do it by yourself. I'm a fan of do it yourself, not 1,000 templates. There's no template that will fit you perfectly. But if you learn how to do the process, you will be the best person to prepare your own template. Please, I'm from Cameroon. This person is asking about diversity. I don't do diversity green card, sorry. Okay, here Emily has the second portion of her question. Yeah, you keep talking about the backlog. Yeah, so you're right. The situation right now may be worse than what we know because there is a backlog. So yes, I still tell you what I told you earlier. File your I-140 as soon as you are prepared for it, so you can have your priority date and you are in line. Font said, I forgot to mention earlier that I am already approved. Congratulations, your videos were a great help, and I am very happy to hear that. I love hearing that. These days, I'm receiving a lot of emails every week saying those kind of news, and it is very fulfilling. Okay, Natalia, in terms of pages, is 25 pages enough for the NIW case plus evidences? Now I'm going to say the opposite I said earlier. 25 page, including all the evidence, is, in my view, not going to be enough. It's not a matter of quantity, really, it's a matter of quality. Now, if you tell me, I prepare my cover letter and my exhibits and they are wonderful and I think this is very solid and it's only 25 pages, I say, by all means, then go for it. But in my personal experience, having seen a lot of petitions, I think close to 100 petitions right now, less than 15 pages of cover letter, of petition cover letter, is usually too short. More than 25 starts getting too boring. So there is a sweet spot there in that range. And then you need the pages for all those exhibits. So I think 25 pages total is going to be a little bit too short. But I reiterate, it's not about quantity, it's about quality. So you may be able to do it. Is having a PhD better than applying with only master's degree? What about experience, citation, publications? Well, if you know about NIW, you have multiple routes. And here I have I'm going to turn off the comment 1 second. You can do it with advanced degree, with master's or PhD, bachelor plus 5 years progressive experience, and then you have to fulfill the matter of DANASAR. So there's no one thing better than the other. PhD, it is better in the sense that it is a higher, it's the highest academic level that one can reach. So that says something about it. But a lot of masters and a lot of bachelors will get approval if they can prove that they are well positioned with things like what you said, experience, but experience more towards what is the impact of your work, more than number of years. What is the impact of your work? What projects you did that benefit the society? Things like citations and publications, but you have others. You have professional or business plan, you have awards, you have media attention. There's a lot of things you can use in an EB2NIW. All right. Jaime, Oscar, you rock. Thank you. Thank you for always explaining things in a very consistent and informative manner. Thank you. I try. Sometimes I may fail, but I appreciate your comment. General question from John. Can one enter the USA with F1, H1, B1, B2, or any non-immigrant visa? If yes, okay. If no, what kind of visa can one use to enter the US? You can enter the US with a lot of different types of visas. All of the ones you mentioned, F1, J, B, those are tourist, student, exchange visitor. Also H visa, L visa, all the soup of letters that you can imagine. It will give you access to the US. And then once you are in the US, you can file your green card petition and adjust your status. Okay, those you can Google types of visa for the US. There's a lot. There's many more than what we usually discuss. How can I do to get an appointment with you to check my petition? I use your templates, but I have some doubts. Like I said, I have that services tab in my website. You can go and check, but I do very, very few per month, and I'm very inflexible with that. Once I get some more help, we'll be able to do more, and that will be coming soon. But right now, we do very few per month. You can go put your email under the calendar, and I will notify you when I open those dates. But otherwise, I cannot do much about it. So one more minute and we'll go. I'm a project specialist. Even if you are a professional, you need to demonstrate like a business plan, customers market to be a consultant in your field. It depends on your case, be friend. You need to look at your case and decide if your case needs a professional plan or not, or if it needs a business plan or not. In general, I do recommend to my course members, I recommend that they add one or the other, unless they have a very, 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 very strong profile. I think most cases benefit from having one or the other. Oscar, can I use pictures as evidence? Yes, you certainly can. I wouldn't put the picture in the petition cover letter. I would put them in the exhibit section. Hi again, general question. Can one enter the US with a non-immigrant visa after getting NIW approved? Well, that's a complicated question. In general, yes, but the question is, will you be able to get a non-immigrant visa if you already started your green card process? For many visas, the answer is no. For example, a tourist or a business visa, B1, B2, that's a non-dual intent visa. If you file your I-140 and then you go to the consulate to apply for your B1, B2 visa, they are going to see in the system that you try to get your green card. You are trying to get your green card. You are trying to permanently live in the US. They are going to deny your non-immigrant visa. But there are certain visas like H or L that are dual intent, and those you can do the two things, non-immigrant and immigrant visa, without restrictions. So it really depends on what visa and what is the situation, okay? So with that being said, I think we're going to put an end to today's session. I'm very, very happy that you were here with me today. We were consistently over 100 people. I didn't really keep an eye all the time, but a lot of attendance, a lot of good questions. I'm sorry if I missed a few of them, but I think I tried to reply most of them, and I appreciate your support week after week. We are learning together about EB2NIW, about EB1A. We keep releasing videos. We will keep improving the course. We will keep improving the materials, the websites, and I will see you here every week. I'll see you here next week and the following and the following. And I will see you also in the channel in Spanish as well. All right. So if you want to have another live session like this one, let's hit 20,000 subscribers and we'll see each other again. Thank you so much and have a very good weekend. Enjoy your weekend and I will see you next week. Good luck in your green card journey.